Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hey guys, welcome back to Anfield Index Pro. It's me again. I'm back with part 2. I'm sure you all listened to the ticketing podcast with Dave Davis. Really insightful stuff. I wanted to get this guest on as well so we can all have a little chit chat together. But you know how it's like adulting, time is precious. People are really busy. But you know what? I'm back with a part 2 and I get to do another podcast. So it's a win-win. But you know what? The biggest win is for you guys because I have another excellent guest for you guys. It's a guy that needs no introduction, but, we're going to give him one all the same. He's the most lovable guy on Anfield Index, the most helpful. Everyone loves him. Everyone respects him. And we all call him Baji, known as Harinder Singh. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
It is absolutely wonderful to have you on, Harinder. I know we've been fighting to get you on. I was even willing to wake up at 5 a.m. if you were free at that time to do this podcast. That's how important you are to us, and your knowledge is absolutely crucial. So you know what, Harinder, you got the gist of what this podcast is about. And, we've had a little chat before we jumped on the mics about the whole ticketing situation. So you know what, obviously you've heard what Dave had to say on the whole situation, and many people really enjoyed his insights. So again, I want to get your thoughts on this. What are your initial thoughts on the change? I mean, basically you have a lot more knowledge than what I do, so do you want to just let people know about it?
I suppose in the worst way possible, it makes me semi-ITK, right? Because I sit on the ticketing forum. Mm-hmm. So originally it was on ticket. There was 2 forums. There used to be the ticket allocation forum and the ticket pricing forum. I used to sit in the ticket pricing forum. And just before COVID, or during COVID-ish, they kind of amalgamated the 2 together. So I've been privy to the meetings around ticketing and everything else.
Can I just ask you, how long have you been on this board?
So there's not a board, it's a forum.
Sorry, that's it. Tell me make it sound official.
So the present-ish kind of version of the ticketing forum kind of started around the 16-17 mark. So it started around the middle of November 2017.
Okay. Cool.
So the season Mo Salah was playing for us. And the first meeting was a very bad and drab draw with West Bromwich in December, of 2017 or around then. It was just terrible as a match, as a spectacle. Meeting wasn't too bad though, but the match was shit. So it's coming up to 5 years now or so. I've been part and parcel of this. In respect to my thoughts on the new scheme, it will level the playing field, but we won't see that leveling now. So this season 22-23 isn't where we're going to see any kind of leveling of a playing field or things getting easier for fans. The biggest problem with the member scheme is the number of memberships they're not stopped, right? Memberships are still sold with this golden promise and lots of glitzy kind of cop images of people going to matches and getting to ticketing and seeing this and seeing that, and you've got a chance, etc., etc. Your chance is atrocious if you're a brand new member. Let's face it, it really is. You know what? If you've never been to a match at Anfield and you join the ticketing, if you become a member just on the hope of being able to get a ticket, your hope is slim. Your hope is, if you are on 0 credits, your hope is slim. However, if you are on 13 plus credits, you have you're guaranteed to go. Now, when this version of selling bulk tickets twice a year started in the 11-12 season, so Kenny's first full season with us, the first sales were shit, technically. Like, it was really bad. People getting kicked out. They'll have all the tickets in their basket and all this kind of stuff, and then getting kicked out, and then lots of like teething problems with ticketing. And there's always been teething problems with ticket sales.
Yes.
So we've been here for 12-ish seasons, give or take, of people buying tickets this way. So over those years, you can imagine the first few seasons, people get their credits. People buy all 19. They buy all 19 home matches in the 11-12 season. They do the same in 12-13, 13-14, 14-15, 15-16, 16-17, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20. Not so much 20-21 because they couldn't. 21-22 carry on where they left off. 22-23, they're carrying on where they left off.
Yeah.
That creates a problem because it means everybody new won't really get a look in, right? Because all the oldies on 13 plus from way back when are always going to be able to get what they want. Now, the demographics of that means that you've got a closed shop. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. If you are a member on 13 plus credits, you are guaranteed to buy and guaranteed to be able to get your pick of matches no matter what happens. So if you're in that place, in that position, you're laughing, right? Because you have a monopoly on being able to get tickets for whatever match you want.
It's tier-based as well, isn't it, for the members as well? Dave was kind of talking us through it.
This is irrespective of tiers right now.
Oh, right,
so we're talking about people who've got 13 plus.
So we're on credits at the moment. Plus. Okay.
And people seem to forget there wasn't this 4 thing in the middle. There used to be 13 and 0. Actually, it used to be the point whereby up until I think 1819 or maybe 1920, there were 2 bulk sales that people. So the bulk sales that happened, there were 2 sales that everybody needed to attend. Oh, sorry, 1 sale that everyone needed to attend, no matter who you were, and 1 just for the 13 plus odd, which sold one set of matches, category A and B, and then there was the category C ones. And that was painful as well, because if you can imagine, if you're a member on 13 plus and you've got all your credits, etc., and you can only buy, say, I don't know, 7 matches in 1 sale, and you've got to buy the other 2 in the second sale. In the first sale, you qualify. Lots of people will be trying to go and getting on and buying, and they don't really qualify, but they're going to try anyway. And then you'll have the aspect of the free-for-all, as it was known, the free-for-all sale, which was atrocious, right? So then you had like 50, 100,000 odd people trying to get onto, 50 to 100,000 connections trying to go and buy tickets and bringing the whole system down. Yeah, and literally it was just crashed because it just couldn't handle it and it couldn't take it. It was just like, what the hell is going on here? So when you're in that position, it just looks a bit shit, really. So they changed it. They introduced this thing of people on 13 could buy all at once, and then there's this bit of the 4 plus credits and then the 0 credits thing. So they kind of split the sales a little bit. So it's only recent. It's only a couple of seasons that happened. It wasn't there historically. So this whole middle grounding kind of thing wasn't really the way. There was you get or fight for it, basically. That was how it used to be. Now, how have we got here? So you can imagine, I said, I meant the whole thing around 13 plus credits, people buying, but people kept on buying and not attending. So when it was cards, you can't really prove that a person with a card didn't attend unless you're monitoring that card actively. And there used to be some instances of whereby someone's card would be confiscated and taken away from them and all their credits taken away from them because the club had been monitoring a certain individual, and then the individual go onto Twitter and say, oh, oh my God, this has happened to me, that's happened to me. And in some cases, they had legitimate arguments, and in some cases, they had no legitimate argument in respect to what they were doing because the club had sussed on to what they were doing, i.e. they were buying without the intention of going.
Yeah.
So let's register that. Buying without the intention of going. That's what this is meant to try and cure. Now, if you're a layperson, you're on 0 credits, and you hear this, how do you feel? Like, genuinely, if you're on 0 credits, people are buying because they can buy, but they're not intending to go. And you're on 0 credits, and you're desperate to go. How do you feel now?
And not only intending to go, I'm assuming touting tickets as well might be a factor in this as well.
Could. Yeah, absolutely is a factor. Because people do it.
Mm-hmm.
Members was season ticket holders, similar. touting is a dead simple thing. So when they did the whole the fan update process, aka fan ID, which is what it was badly tagged as the first time around, and everyone had to submit their details and prove who they are and all this kind of stuff, it weeded out a lot of the double season ticket holders, and also allowed people during an amnesty to reallocate the season ticket to the rightful holder, so to speak, in inverted commas. And also with members, where members had, you had 2 members cards or 3 members cards all on the same name, all because you could bulk buy for so many seasons without any control checks. Yeah, so the club took their time about it. They figured out all the kind of nonsense that was going on, and they've tried to fix it year by year. Now, we've got to a point whereby this season, the whole thing around credits and how they transfer, they've been trying to do this for not just one season. They were trying to do this before COVID. It just never got implemented. And we never got to the point of being able to implement it because of COVID. Now that the flow of people coming in through matches has changed somewhat, and it's kind of got, I suppose, back to normal, give or take. This was the first full season they could do it, and they've taken that opportunity to do it. Yeah. Now, there's lots of I suppose there's only one shit metric out there, right? It says during the 21-22 season, on average, 53% of official member tickets were available were transferred every game. And 81% of tickets purchased in late sale availabilities. And remember, they have to keep a certain percentage. I think it's either 5% or 10%. I can't remember what it is. It's that there's a percentage of tickets that they have to hold back for that late availability. Including local member sales and £9 local sales, were transferred every single game.
Yep.
Now, when they got to the halfway markish plus, around February, March time, those stats looked like this. Yeah, nearly. I'm not going to give the exact numbers because I don't want to get into trouble for things that are internalized and they haven't been shared as general metrics. I don't know why they've not been shared. I wish they would be, but nearly 20,000 general admission tickets were getting distributed to other supporters every single match. Wow. Let me say that to you one more time. Nearly 20,000. It's not exactly 20,000, by the way. It's a little bit below that. But I'm not going to give the exact number. I don't want to get into trouble or anything. And nearly 40-50% of them were being forwarded on a game-by-game basis.
Whoa. That's some context right there why the club had to move the way.
Let's split it now. Let's make it even easy. People then go about season ticket holders versus members, and season ticket holders do this, season ticket holders do that. Historically, there was an argument of season tickets being given and being shared and too many being shared and all this kind of stuff. From what was going on in respect to those metrics, it's about an average of 8,000 season ticket holders a game. 1,100 of them had forwarded their season tickets over in every game. And of the members, there was about nearly 10,000 or so that were being transferred all the time. Then you had 50% of members transferring at least once as per the metrics. But there was a lot of members on full credits. That means they were all 19 from so many seasons, etc., that weren't going to a single game. So that means you've got somebody on 19. So all the people on 0 credits and full credits, this is the bit where your ears will prick up. You have people on full credits who have not been to a single game, and every single game they have transferred their ticket. Every single game transferred.
That's horrendous.
Now do you see why this has been important? When you hear that, that's quite galling, right? Mm-hmm. And people do it. Yeah.
And let's ask you why.
Sure.
Obviously I'm trying to understand this, right? So I'm thinking, why would you hoard like that? If you've got no intention to go, because I'm thinking from a personal perspective.
It's real simple. It's FOMO. So you've got the schemas that came out in 11-12, right? So you signed up a scheme in 11-12. You might have been a member or what was used to be known as LFC supporter or fan ID number and fan card thingy. The fan card system has been there for quite a long time, actually. And the fan number, like people, some of them go into the number thousands or prior to that as a starting point. So that's been there for time immemorial. And people buy because of the fear of missing out. So this whole system has generated I suppose a membership scheme that it's not. I don't think fearmonger is the right phraseology here. It's a case of whereby you don't know where you're not going to be able to, or when the system is going to change. So you just keep on buying.
Okay.
So you just keep on buying because you're at 19. You're going to go. I want to stay at 19. I'm going to stay at 19. I've just got to buy 19 because 13 could become 14. 14 could become 15.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. So they just kept on buying because they just didn't know when to stop or how to stop. And then you also have the people who tout, who then saw the opportunity whereby because they had members cards and from 11, 12 or 12, 13, they saw the flaw in the system and exposed it massively. Because you could have had multiple member cards.
Yes.
Yeah. Just buy every single ticket and tout every single ticket. You just have to collect a card at the end of the match, right? Give a card at the beginning, collect a card at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you just kept on doing it. And then last season, the whole thing with friends and family. Now, friends and family, when it kicked in, there was a list of 20. They've been trying to have friends and family for quite a few seasons before this to try and restrict the ticket flow. I.e., who do you give it to prevent sort of like, just randomly giving tickets and preventing touts from randomly giving tickets to any person off the street at any price they want to. Yeah. Now, it originally was going to be 6 or 8 people. 6 or 8. It wasn't meant to be a lot of people, by the way. 6 or 8. Then during the COVID period or prior to sort of like last season starting, they made it 20 or something like that, I think it was. Yeah, now they made it unlimited. And the reason why they made it unlimited isn't so much around being able to give it to whoever. It's more a case whereby there's lots of people who have lots of friends, especially in the members area, where you'll buy on behalf of somebody else. Now, that's not saying that you're buying and bypassing people. Yeah, it's more a case whereby you're sort of helping somebody who already qualifies who just can't attend that sale for whatever reason because work and life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. And there are some people who have more than 20 friends. And the reason for that is because if you think about people who qualify for going to like Europe or certain away matches where you can buy 8 or 10 tickets, I can never remember the limit, together, the people who can go vary. So it just gives you that flexibility. So having it unlimited makes life a little bit more easier. Also, from unlimited friends and family, you know what? People who want to go, if they're your friends and you can't organize your life to the point of being listing down everybody you think or who's a mate with you who you may want to transfer your ticket to by the 5th of August this year, then that's not really the club's problem. But you should know by then who your mates are and who you are probably going to give a ticket to if you have the opportunity to give a ticket to anybody. What they're trying to do is eliminate randomness because the randomness is what allows touts to flourish. The ability to randomly give a ticket. That randomness was in abundance last year, because it was email-based transfer. Yeah, what could you do? The club did it because of COVID regulations and things changing, and the possibility of a lockdown always being on the horizon, or regional lockdowns being on the horizon because of the level of information they got from the authorities, which is genuinely shit anyway, because most authorities want to be absolute pricks and make life painful for people. And things would change because of our government being so stupid in general because of who they are and what they represent. It would happen last minute. So they were protecting themselves. But in that protectionism, again, allowed touts to flourish because touts could say, we'll charge whatever and email transfer and off we go. Yeah. So that system, that was always going to go away. It was, I know the flexibility it gave people, but that flexibility was taken the piss out of. Like, do you remember the local tickets thing? So with the £9 general sale tickets, £9 local tickets, out of them, if you had 500 being available, over 60, 70% of them were being forwarded. The people and it didn't stop anybody from doing it. So they were buying the tickets that were meant as a restricted sale for a restricted region and a restricted postcode and still being forwarded on to other people. Then what do you do? But then when you read it like that, you're like, oh, look, you know what? All the things that people put in as good things, people took the piss out of. So the club have looked at it in quite a pragmatic sense and gone, well, look, people are taking the piss. Yeah. We need to stop people taking the piss, basically. How do we do that? This is the first wave of doing it. Now, they've only done it for Premier League games. So auto cup scheme type stuff like FA Cup, Champions League, and League Cup hasn't happened for there. And I thought that might have been the one place that they wanted to do it first, because there's always the people who give their tickets away and give it to a single person who attends everything, does all the hard work of the sale,
and
the
then
registration,
you get the final,
the buying,
and then you get the final.
And then when it comes to the final, you tell that person to fuck off, basically, and you attend yourself. How Tory? How Tory, right?
So this is why, like, the new scheme now, obviously I've spoken to Dave about this. Obviously, there's been a lot of angst on social media. So, you know, the friend now going, you know, the registered friends that go now, they get the credit and, you know, and they miss out.
So there's been, there has been angst around that because of the whole, the season ticket holder doesn't get punished if they do anything. Yeah. Now, when this original thing was being thought out, I think they were trying to work out how they would manage season ticket holders and their non-attendance. So I don't think that that's going to stay like that forever.
Do you think they'll get a shake-up as well?
Oh, completely. Because there are season ticket holders who probably do transfer every single match as well.
Yeah, could you give us some stats at the beginning of the pod? Yes.
Yeah, so it does happen. Now, when you think about a season ticket, you buy the right to attend every single match, but not the obligation. Just bear that. Let's hear that out again. You're buying the right. You think about it. You buy a season ticket. It's like you buy a season ticket for a train journey. Yeah, let's say you do like a monthly travel card, or, you know, a season ticket for a year to go on any train that you want between, I don't know, X and Y. Yeah, you bought the right to go on the train. You didn't buy the obligation. It doesn't say that every single day you must go. Yeah. However, when you buy a season ticket, it's kind of implicit that you are thinking about seriously going every single match, because otherwise, why would you buy it? Yeah, why would you buy it? Just in general, when it comes to a season ticket, I'm not talking specifically about Liverpool, but generally the concept of a season ticket. Now, with our season ticket holders, the rights there. Now, the problem about the credits is as follows: you have a member system where people are trying to reach a certain point, which I understand, but you have a saturation of that point already because of people who hold 19 credits but don't go to every single game. So as you're trying to weed this out, you can't increase that population, so to speak, because then you have an imbalance of what's considered general attendance, or the maximum figure they can hold, without impacting season ticket and validity, because then you just knock people out of the pool completely. So nothing would change. So I get why they've held it static. What happens in 23-24, I don't know yet. And I hope that, you know, it's considered in respect to they find a correct average, which says, you know, if you've attended X amount of games and you have these amount of credits, you can buy these games, you can buy these games, and so on and so forth. You know, but there's nothing like that, no conversation piece like that's even taken place or being spoken about in the last 2-3 years. Yeah. So that's something to bear in mind here. Now, with the friends and family stuff, yeah, unlimited, as I said, is just, it makes sense to me. I said it was going to be much more restrictive. It started up as 6/8. It was then it turned to 20, which is great, and now it's unlimited. But you can't, obviously, if you think about it, you could have an unlimited list of people, but you could, if you were such an individual, you could only still transfer your ticket 19 times to somebody, or 19 different individuals. So you could have a list of 100 people, but you can still only give it to 19 because you can't give it to 2 people for one match, right? For a single credit, for a single ticket. But then also, if you're the kind of, if you are doing that, genuinely, if you think about the membership scheme, you may be okay, but then we're stopping people who really want to attend, who won't get a chance otherwise from attending. Yeah, and the whole reason for you keeping the credit is because you just want to be able to be the person who's in control. So you have your control in respect to what you have. So you want to have your cake and eat it. Liverpool are taking the cake back.
Yeah, it's kind of like like it's like in some degree it's kind of like selfish. It's kind of like you were talking about, you know, the people with 0 credits and how, like, you know, how impossible it is for them to get, a Premier League game.
Yeah, I mean, I am perplexed at the club. They sell memberships, as I said, with a glossy image of how easy it will be to get tickets. And, you'll be able to, have the opportunity. But the opportunity is a shit one.
Yeah.
It is. If you're on 0 credits and you sign up for a membership and think that you're going to get a ticket really easily, how many Premier League matches go to general sale? Like whereby you need 0 credits to attend? Hardly any. Yeah. FA Cup, League Cup, yes, they do. League Cup definitely does. League Cup definitely does, especially in the early rounds. Fucking rare. So I can't think of one.
Yeah, forget about it. Yeah, I said that.
I can't think of one that's gone.
Yeah.
I don't think there is. Yeah. Away, Champions League away was a different story. There was a couple back in 17-18. Spartak Moscow rings a bell as one that went to all credits. If you wanted to go, you could go. Had people gone to that one, and let's say if you were a member of the ACS for the Champions League and you did that one away match to Spartak Moscow, no matter how much of a pain in the arse it was, you would have qualified for a Champions League final ticket.
Wow. Incentives.
Yeah, incentives, but yes, it's not exactly easy to go to Moscow.
No, not an easy incentive, but no. Try your luck. So Harinder, obviously really, really insightful stuff there, and really, really appreciate you giving us, some kind of like very nearly, stats. Obviously nothing on the mark for obvious reasons. You've got to protect the data, so to speak. I'm sure the club, I think it would I like the fact that the club did release some kind of stats, and obviously Dave went through them, and just to sort of give some context that there's a reason why the club did this and there's method behind it. And obviously, like now what we're looking at here is I'm using you and obviously various things to read on the subject, like Spirit of Shankly and stuff. And obviously Dave kind of gave this warning as well, saying that, don't read things, make your own judgment, get both sides of things. And I think I think Dave did an excellent job at sort of like weighing up the pros and cons and, seeing both sides of it. You've come in here and you've kind of really, really given us some hard facts, because initially when I read all this on like Thursday and Friday, I was seeing a lot of angst on social media and fans getting really angry. I saw the statement by Spirit of Shankly as well, went on, read some of their material, so with regards to the fume on social media, is this a case of like, will this affect people? And I asked Dave this as well, and you'll probably know better, but would this affect more people who have got like multiple membership cards?
Ish. So the whole multi-member thingy, they try to weed a lot of that out with the fan update stuff from a few seasons back.
Yes.
Yeah. Now with existing members who are on 13 plus, if you are buying with 0 intention of going, then yes, it's going to impact you. I'll say that again. If you are a member who buys without the intention of going because you are getting it, so you have the credit, so that you have that warm fuzzy feeling in your stomach and inside you which goes, when I want to go, I can go. And this season, yes. Next season, no. If you continue, I've heard the whole thing about burner phones, etc., etc. I don't know what the club are going to do about that. I don't. Whether they have a trick up their sleeve or not to combat it, I just don't know. But then also I said, then think how many people are really going to do. If you're a Tau, how often are you just going to give somebody a £700-800 phone? Or a cheaper version of a phone that works with NFC? I just don't know how they're going to operate it and what they would do. But I don't know what the club's combative measures to that are going to be either, to be fair. There probably will be something though at some point. Because let's face it, if it's something that people are going to exploit, then the whole thing is to try and stop the exploitation and make it easier for people to get on a level pegging field.
Mm. And also, from speaking to Dave as well, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this as well. So, with obviously they're going to try it this season, and obviously you'll get more of a feel of who's been going and which friends have been going, and they get the credit. So therefore, they have more of an increased chance of being more successful, next season and seasons to come. And that's how I'm guessing it's going to go. Do you think then, because I spoke to Dave, like there's a big ship and a drop in terms of the tiers, do you think there's going to be more tiers so it makes life easy for people and maybe a bit more of an
I think so. There's been no conversation in the forums or anything like that around what tiers will look like, unless there's something happening privately that I don't know about between upper forums or between the Spirit of Shankly and the club or other people. I just don't know, or I've not heard anything. But I think that's where it's going towards. So this whole thing about 13 plus will change, and the whole thing around, 0 and 4. 0 will remain 0. I don't think anyone can change that, right? Because if you're a person with 0 credits and you do nothing in the 22-23 season to get a credit, or someone doesn't give you a credit because they transfer their ticket to you, who's an existing member, and so on and so forth, then I don't know what could change for that person, for someone who's on 0. I don't know. Maybe the club introduce something whereby, they give someone, the people who are on 0 credits, only they get balloted for something. Who knows? I don't know what they're thinking, But the reason for the ballot and stuff like that is because you have an oversubscription of members who are on 0 credits, because the club keeps on, again, flashy, glitzy, crocky image.
Can they stop selling them? Because it's just like money making, £30 for a membership, and then nobody's getting anything except for a little bit of a discount on the store. Like, stop it.
That's it. That's just that. It's a money spinner.
Then the club surely is at fault for that as well, because they're making it increasingly difficult for people who've been stuck on 0 credits for so many years, and they can't get it, and you're adding it to a pen of people, and then making it more and more increasingly difficult. The club has to have some kind of accountability.
They 100% do. They are fully. They should hold the accountability and the complicitness in respect to how we got to where we are. They designed the original system, which people have flaunted. They have also then carried on, as I said, a glitzy glamour club image and sold memberships to people. And they keep on doing that. At some point, they have to stop selling memberships for a while, at least to correct this situation. They have to. And it does get raised in the meetings with the club, by the way, about membership, doesn't it? It's not something that just suddenly, no one ever mentions it. Of course they do, because that's half the problem. You keep on selling them, people will keep on buying them because they believe that, they just might get a chance.
So sold a fantasy.
Well, instead of being sold a hospitality single match day ticket, which has changed in price from where it was in 16-17, when the concept first started as the main stand opened, so the new main stand opened, to where we are now, there's been almost 100% sometimes increases to those prices. So something that used to be 120 quid is 250 quid now, or something that used to be 250 quid is 350 to 400 pounds now. Something that used to be 350 pounds to 400 pounds now is 500, 600, 700 pounds. Yeah. It's just ridiculous, right? So the hospitality side has been well and truly battered. You want to see change in ticket price inflation? Go and look at the hospitality single match day, as to how much it's changed. And if you're somebody's coming from an international perspective, it's already fucking painful. It's part of my French. It's painful because you've got the ticket, you've got the accommodation and everything else to go with it. And then you've got the cost of the ticket. And the ticket cost is high. It's 10 times more in some cases, if not 15, 20 times more than what somebody paid to sit on the cop. Now you know why the people have the desire to go to speak to someone who's a member on 19 credits or got the 13 plus and go, hey mate, can you do me a favor? Have you got any spare?
Yeah.
That's where that whole thing comes from as well. Just to genuinely, like, most people don't help. They kind of help their mates, right? Let's be fair about this. But we just have a lot of people who don't help their mates. They just want to help line their pockets. That's the sad part of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like a side income. Right, Harinder, I know you're really pressed for time. Really, really enjoyed our chat. Before you go, is there anything you kind of, your lasting words on this, anything what people should read, just your final thoughts on the whole situation? Because again, I think both you and Dave have brought a lot of balance to this, because I think when you look at social media, it kind of looked like, to me, like, oh, people are being forced out.
Yeah, the biggest thing is there seems to be this thinking that it's just over one season that they've been looking at what this problem is. The problem's been there for a long, long time. Sadly, last season just showed how bad it could be. It's much worse than how people thought it would be, especially the numbers. Like, the numbers are so fucking damning in respect to, the level of transfers. If you certain matches, they had over 20,000 people transferring tickets. Over 20,000. Let that register, folks. Over, nearly 20,000 people in a 54,000 stadium are people who had a ticket transferred to them. So the original buyer was never intended, just didn't go for whatever reason. That all 20,000 wouldn't be a legitimate reason of not going. You know what, they had COVID, they were sick, this happened, that happened. 1%, 10% maybe at a push. All 20,000+ of them? I don't think so, mate.
Yeah, so it's a huge number. You know, quite shocking actually. Yeah,
it's much worse for us than it is in respect to other clubs. That's what the club found out.
Oh, okay. So they've done
some
analysis against other clubs.
Yeah, they did some sleuthing and analysis with other clubs. Yeah.
Well,
to see whether it was.
Well, it's definitely an evidence-based decision. Then, you know, really, compared and did everything from the club perspective. So, guys, first of all, I have to thank Harinder for that. Harinder, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
Yeah,
no,
guys,
it's not a problem. As I said, like, the club ain't innocent in all of this, so don't take my support of change being like, oh yeah, it's, you know, only the club, etc. The club fucked up well and truly in regards to how the system's been implemented over the years. They can't get away from that. And the club have also fucked up in the fact that they haven't clamped down on it sooner. Or made things more difficult, but then the club also needs to realise where they're complicit and continually selling the dream in inverted commas. That's never going to come true for people.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Harinder. I think that's fair, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. A massive thank you to Harinder again, and of course Dave on part one on the podcast. But Harinder, before I let you go, where can people find you on social media? Any plugs you'd like to do?
You'll find me whenever people tweet me or when I'm taking the piss out of Trev Downey, really. So, yep, Harinder 1977 on Twitter. Nothing much has changed there. What am I doing? Not a lot. I really do need to organise the Bessie that happens prior to the season starting. Maybe do that in line next week with the Community Shield, aka Vegetali. Because it doesn't, anyone who's been to an Indian restaurant and had a veg or non-veg thali, the Community Shield just looks like the kind of thing that they give the platter, but they come bring you the dishes in. It's got all the little circles around it. You're expecting 8 to 10 different dishes and something else splattered across the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. I can 100% relate. We'll never ever look at the Community Shield the same again. We've all got a house if you're South Asian. Yeah.
So yeah, indeed. And then obviously we start a season with the match against Fulham. So yeah, I'll set something up. Get the usuals on, take the piss out of life and people.
Absolutely look forward to that. Right, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you found both part one and part two really informative and educational. I certainly have. It's good to get the balance on both sides of things. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Take care. Till next time, up the Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at anfieldindex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.